Good evening, everyone, and welcome here to the Talladega Superspeedway, the season opener for season 57 of the RTG Talladega Challenge Series. Season 57 getting ready to be underway. Drivers will have 10 races to try and make it into the playoffs, and as we've seen here in this series, season after season, you want to tune into every lap of every race. Here joining me in the booth to kick off tonight's season opener is Michael Norman. Michael, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. I'm excited to be back here and with another season, another clean slate. Seth, I can't wait to see who's going to be the first person to park it in victory lane.
Yeah, you talk about it being a clean slate here tonight. Everybody starts at 0 points. You're trying to find victory lane. You're trying to get those maximum points in case you have to point your way into the playoffs. It all starts here tonight. And if we look back at last season, Grant Wesley, defending champion, coming into tonight. Last year was his first career championship in this series. But I think more than anything, what we learned from driver 88 is it doesn't matter how bad your season starts out. As long as you keep on firing, around the midway portion of the season, even late in the season, you might end up getting that victory. That's all the difference maker between you getting into the playoffs or not. Grant missed the first 2 races of last season, and he ended up winning the championship.
Yeah, and it's all about consistency and wins and getting yourself in the right place at the right time. And Grant has been able to do that and just proven too. Right when you think you can count him out, like you don't know if he's going to be able to make it. Bam, right there he shows up, wins when he needs to, and he was able to win the championship. So this could happen with anybody here if they can position themselves at the right moment.
Grant was a multi-time winner last season. Obviously, he's very fast when it comes to getting around this 2.66-mile super speedway. So when you're fast, people want to work with you, but on the flip side, they want to stop Grant Wesley from being a back-to-back champion. So at least here in the early going of the season, I assume he's going to have friends, but I mean, how apt are you going to be to try and finish under that 88 truck every single week?
It's every man for himself. Friends are where you find them, and when it comes down to those last couple laps, you have no friends.
This season, same as last season, random draw qualifying. That means that Glenn Harris gets the first pole of season 57. He'll be on the front row alongside of Donnie Garrett. Row 2 will find David Cannon and Ken Roberts. Kelly Causey in row 3 with Jason Scheck, Milt Surratt, and Doug Maluski. They're in row 4, and the top 10 going to be completed by Tim Nofsker and Nathan Balser. Grant Wesley, the defending champ, he lines up on the inside of row 6 with Curlin Hurst to his outside. Row 7 is going to find Terry Bombard and Mike Rogers. Row 8, Mark Paglia and Craig Palmer. Row 9 is going to be Josh Metallic and Chuck McClure, who won the season opener last year. And then in the top 20 will be Manny D and Jessica Shelton. Bernie Mobbs is in row 11 with Bob Dixon. Row 12, Dante Ricky and Wade Pripnow. Row 13 finds Cy Jones and Richard Martin. Row 14 will be Rodney Sullins and Jeremy Jeffries. Row 15, the top 30 completed by John Godfrey and Joe DeSpirito. Row 16 is going to be Wiley Coate and Tom Dixon. Row 17, Ryan Schilling and Dave Nelson. Row 18, Bob Seminara way back there with Chris Elliott. And then Billy Elliser and Sean Prime will bring up the final row. 38 drivers going to take the green flag here tonight. You saw there on the back straightaway, leader has lane choice on the start and restart. Glenn Harris is going to choose the top line here to lead us to green.
Coming through slowly, 70 miles per hour, rate for the right moment. Flagman with the green flag in hand. Green flag, and we're underway.
66 laps away from finding out who's going to get the first checkered flag of season 57, as Glenn Harris will not get a good initial start. Donnie Garrett and Dave Cannon on the inside. They're going to clear the top line, move up to that middle groove before they get out of turn 2. Almost makes you wonder if Glenn Harris knew he might not get a good initial start, so he may have forfeited the inside line there. Harris will slot to third. Causey now into the fourth position. 5th place side by side. Now 3 wide for 6th as Milt Surratt cleared for the position. Tim Knopfsker on the inside of that 3 wide. Jason Scheck up on the top side in the yellow and blue Spam Ford F-Series. The middle truck is the 55 of Ken Roberts. Got a few drivers here tonight going to have to kind of get used to their new liveries from season 56 to season 57. Ken is one of those drivers.
Yeah, it didn't take them long to fan out 3 wide, and that's really not not that unexpected here. And we're just going to see how well these cars can keep it that way, keep it clean and green. Sometimes you want to kind of get out of the racing pack when you see something like this happen. You just kind of want to ride and hope that you can miss all the big wrecks, but then you got some of the people up here that are like, no, we're going to try to get from the back to the front in a hurry and hope that they all wreck behind us.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of drivers that started pretty deep in the field. Be interesting to see how quickly they work their way to the front. One driver that was fun to watch last season was Chuck McClure when he would qualify outside the top 25 or even top 30. It would take him, 6 or 7 laps, and we'd be mentioning him up inside of the top 5. I mean, it's amazing how these drivers are able to know which line moves, which group to work with, how to utilize the track and pick up spots so quickly in just a few number of laps.
Yeah, and speaking of him, he's on the inside row way back here. I believe he is actually currently outside of the top 20, or outside of the top 15 here. And we'll see if he's just riding or if he'll be up within that top pack here in a couple of laps.
We talked about Grant Wesley missing the first 2 races of last season. Seemed to have a flair for the dramatic in the fact that Grant ended up winning pretty late in the season to make his way into the playoffs, got himself up into the top 20 in the points, which was necessary for his win to count towards a playoff spot. He then eventually, at the end of the year, got himself up inside the top 10 in points, which meant that he didn't even need his win. He was already locked in through his points position, and then ended up going victory lane in not one, but both of the elimination races during the course of the playoffs. If you're Grant Wesley here tonight, how anxious are you to get the first checkered flag in the season? Already solidify yourself in the playoffs. Don't have to worry about that kind of last-minute theatricals.
Well, it takes a lot of the pressure off, that's for sure, to get locked into the chase here. But I mean, Seth, we've seen it before. Whether or not you can get a win or not, these drivers are still up at the front, like racing as if they don't have one. So, I mean, I guess it really wouldn't change the fact that you get a win. It takes a little bit of the pressure off. Actually, I think it might just amplify it. It's like, okay, I can start trying some different things now.
And of course, as well, when it comes to super speedway racing, everybody loves super speedway style racing because there's usually the possibility of an underdog story. Look here at 4th place Kelly Causey. He picked up his first ever win here in the Tally Challenge Series last season. Locked himself into the playoffs. So, will we end up seeing that here this season? Because I see a number of drivers here on the entry list that still haven't yet gotten that elusive checkered flag in this series. This could be the year.
Well, season, not year, the season.
Yeah, season. Curlin Hurst there in the 93, trying to lead that inside line up further to the front. Tim Knopfsker behind him in the 088. Richard Martin in the 43 also behind him, and then I believe that is the 38 of Rodney Sullins, who was part of our championship Final Four last season. Talk about a driver that wants some redemption. You go back to Rodney Sullins and the truck that's just behind him, both those drivers, it was looking like were going to be the 2 to maybe decide the championship last year, but in late race moments, they both couldn't make it on fuel. They came to pit road and ended up turning the championship eventually over to Grant Wesley.
Yep, and it's just something as simple as that strategy that can play a big time factor whether or not you win a race or not.
Ooh, we got ourselves a top line here. Kelly Causey jumps to the outside of Glenn Harris. Milt Surratt and Ken Roberts jumped right up there with him, so we'll see if this top line can gain any momentum and get up there alongside Donnie Garrett for this race lead. Grant, I thought Grant was going to take it even higher there on Ken Roberts for a moment, and caution's out. Yellow flag is waving as they'll race back to the start-finish line.
Wayne Pribnow is down on the bottom it was on the bottom in turns 3 and 4, has teleported to victory lane.
The victory
to
lane.
Pit lane. Teleported to pit lane. My bad.
Wondering, either maybe a solo car spin, but we ended up seeing last season, especially late in the season, a number of mechanical failures that would end up bringing out a yellow. So I'm wondering if that's what this was, since I didn't see any visible smoke anywhere on the racetrack. Take a look here and yeah, we'll take a look and see with the 14. Oh, nope, definitely involved in a wreck. Oh my gosh. Well, we've got our first flip of the season.
Yeah, these trucks are very easy to flip here.
Looks like he had some connection problems. Disappears, and as soon as he reappears, it's almost kind of like one of those tornadoes in Rocket League. It's like it swept him up, and that thing was swirling and twirling all the way through the center of 3 and 4. Take another look at it here, another angle. That's a scary looking wreck there for Wayne Pribb now. Now, obviously, with him disappearing, we're not able to see what he sees on his end, so we don't know exactly which truck he ended up making contact with that eventually sent him up in the air. But look at this, as soon as he reappears, he's up and into the catch fence. And it was hard to tell when he reappears if there were any other drivers that might have gotten bits and pieces of that incident or not. Might have gotten lucky in the case of just a solo truck incident, which being right in the middle of the field and flipping the way he was, that's amazing if it's just one truck that got damage. We're gonna slow the replay down here, and we're gonna see if there was anybody that the 14 potentially reappeared inside of. Above Elliott, he's above Manny D. I don't think anybody made contact with him. But look at that. That is
just a case of lag, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. You saw on the couple of replays prior how the truck just kind of bogged down and wasn't turning going into turn 3. That has all the signs that the game was either tabbed out, windowed out, maybe it was in the process of crashing. But we got very, very lucky that that was just a solo truck incident. Scary wreck here to open up the season, and a tough start to the year for a driver 14, Wayne Pribb now, but going to set us up here for our first restart of season 57, and we had just about everybody come to pit road, with the exception of the 2 you see on your screen right now. Jason Scheck in the 1 and Bob Seminara in the 712. Remember, Bob started back in the 35th position. Jason started up on the outside of row 3. I'm trying to remember back. I'm not the best when it comes to old school paint schemes, but I think that's a Lake Speed throwback for the number 1.
It is.
And he will, well, not speed into pit road. I was going to try and make a pun. You'll get a penalty if you're caught speeding on pit lane, but he'll bring it down pit road. Will Jason Scheck. So he got himself a bonus point for a lap led. Yeah, interesting here for Bob Seminara.
I think unless we're going to get another yellow flag lap before we get the one to go.
Well, if we do not, Seminara would be leading us to green. Pole sitter Glenn Harris would be in 2nd. David Cannon 3rd, Milt Surratt 4th, and Tim Knopfsker would be in 5th. And
pace lights are still on.
Yep, still got another lap of pacing. Seminara might be on pit road this next lap. We'll have to wait and see. He might be just doing this to get track position. It would put him, maybe 7-8 laps shorter on fuel than everybody else around him.
Yeah, but you never want to pit by yourself at a plate track.
Yeah, but I mean, rolling the dice to gain track position since he was way back in the pack based off the random qualifying. One driver that I wanted to highlight coming into this race, but I don't see him in the field here tonight, is Jeremy Jeffries. We'll probably see him either next week or at some point here during the season. Oh no, Jeffries is in the field. I'm blind.
Yes, you are.
I am blind. All right, so
you're blind, you're old, and you're deaf.
I am all 3. All All right, where is Jeremy? Because I wanted to highlight him just based on the fact that the last time we aired here for RTG, we were broadcasting the Speedway All-Star Race from the 1997 version of Atlanta Motor Speedway, where Jeremy Jeffries took that checkered flag. Now, I know Atlanta is not Talladega. I know that they're entirely different racetracks, but, I mean, a non-points win like that, would that give Jeremy Jeffries any momentum of any kind coming into this season opener here tonight?
I mean, it's definitely good for bragging rights. That's for sure. But you know, to go out there and win at a track like that, you know, it's like, oh, I may not win at Talladega, but I had the right strategy call for this race.
And that's why I couldn't find Jeremy Jeffries, because he's one of those number of drivers I talked about that is running a different livery this season. It looks like he's going to restart in 9th place with Seminara coming to pit road. So they had themselves all lined up in their correct positions. With the 712 coming to pit lane, everybody's got to do the do-si-do and swap from bottom to top. And Glenn Harris should see the 1 to green signal here with the lights on top of the pace truck this time. Indeed he will. So let's reset the top 10 for you. Harris will be the leader, Cannon in 2nd, Milt Surratt 3rd, Ken Roberts 4th, Tim Knopfsker in 5th, and Kelly Causey 6th, Richard Martin 7th, Grant Wesley up to 8th, 9th place will be Jeremy Jeffries, and Rodney Sullins is going to complete the top 10. And here you see again, much like we saw at the initial start of the race, Glenn Harris is going to elect the top line, putting David Cannon and his Domino's Chevy Silverado on the inside line. Wade Pribb now has taken his truck to the garage area, so he will finish 36th here tonight. Looks like 2 drivers missed the start of this race. I believe one of them was the 15 of Sean Prime.
The other one was somebody named Flatcaster.
Well, no, the Flatcaster and yours, I'm not counting that 36. We're missing somebody else. I'll try and figure out what exactly it is.
2515.
No, that would be Doug Maluski. And Maluski was slated to roll off from row 4 at the initial start of this race. So we'll see if those two will end up getting provisional points or something here.
Sometimes
in
real life
37th
things,
or 38th.
Sometimes real life things pop up and they can't be, and they're unable to make the start like that. So.
That is true. Good news is they were both on the grid, so if they end up returning or deciding to get on track, they would be eligible to do so. Is Glenn Harris about to lead us down here for our first restart?
Look at the gap he has to the truck behind him. That's not good.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe he's planning on ducking out of the way here once we go green.
Oh, they're closing back up now.
He is the control truck, and the green flag is out.
Oh, I thought he might have gotten a better start than Cannon, and I thought maybe he was going to pull out in front, but that doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
Maybe he chooses the top side on both this restart and the previous start, in the fact that the second place driver, as long as they do not pass before the start-finish line, they wouldn't get penalized. So it might have been a strategy call there by Glenn Harris, choosing that outside line, and looks like he's going to fight this time. He kind of faded back in the initial start. He pulls right back alongside of David Cannon going into turn 3. Big push from Ken Roberts. Got a bit of 3 wide fanning out there. Trying to tell who that is that's making it 3 wide on the top side. Really want to leave this battle up here at the front right now to find out, as not a whole lot of room being given. Almost a bit of contact between Cannon and Harris, and then almost contact between Surratt and Roberts in that second row.
It's Brian Schilling right now, but it was Chris Elliott that started out that 3rd lane on the outside there.
Now you can see that 3rd line. There is The square D Dodge of Ryan Schilling leading that extreme outside line as middle line edges ahead a bit here into turn 3. Glenn Harris, half a truck length advantage on David Cannon. Ooh, close there between those two off at turn 4. We've seen it race after race. That inside line tends to push up off of 2 and 4. Got to be really careful not to door bang that truck to your outside. And Michael, that third line is flying. Ryan Schilling, Chris Elliott, and Dante Ricky, they have picked up about 8 spots in the last 2 corners.
Slowly but surely working their way up there. And now here comes more cars trying to break that momentum.
Yeah, Grant Wesley jumped up there. Jeremy Jeffries jumped up there. Ken Roberts is going to get the 8 of the 3 wide push on that top line. They put Harris and Causey in the middle. They're heading towards the back.
Oh, and the 3 moved up.
Line to pick up Milt Surratt and Glenn Harris. Roberts still on that top side. Who's going to lead this lap? Looks like it's going to be the 55 of Ken Roberts. Been 2 seasons since he last went to victory lane back in season 55.
Get the outside lane going there. We'll see if they clear. Very, very, very close.
Got your all-star race winner from a couple weeks ago, Jeremy Jeffries in second. You've got your defending champion, Grant Wesley, right there in third. Another thing that we will be talking in depth about in the next couple of weeks that'll be starting up, of course, is the bracket challenge. These drivers here in the first couple of races, not only are they battling for wins, not only are they battling for points, they're also battling to be up inside the top 24 in points, because wherever they are in the standings once the bracket series begins determines which seed they're going to be placed in.
Absolutely.
You're talking about Ryan Schilling, Chris Elliott heading that third line. Look where they are now. 4th place for the 4, 5th place for the 9s. That outside 3-wide move really helped them in terms of gaining track position. Now, we saw a trend last season where we would either run green the entirety of the race or see 1 or 2 early cautions and then see pit stops really be the deciding factor of the race. We had that 1 early caution in this one back on lap 6, went back green on, I believe it was lap 11 or 12. If we're looking at the possibility of these drivers planning on making a green flag pit stop, keep an eye on your ticker, because we're going to be looking somewhere in the range of
30 to 33.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Lap 30 would probably be around that target lap.
Single file at the front here now.
That is for gracious, the top 14, 15. You got to go all the way back here to Mark Paglia, who now tucks in line. Harry Bombard and Josh Metallic on the top side there, with Greg Palmer in the 22. Mike
Man, I'll
Rogers
tell you,
there.
From a few laps ago, when they were 3 by 3, it was very, very, very scary. Now they've settled it out here. That could have been a big wreck.
43, Richard Martin to pit road. This is way too early for him to be coming to pit lane. I also just noticed that the 08 of Glenn Harris has lost the draft. Checking to see if he might have come to pit road. Tom Dixon has also lost the draft in the 45. Not certain why the 43 would be hitting pit road right now, because he was down pit lane with the leaders.
He went straight through. Maybe he had a penalty.
Did we maybe have a wreck with Glenn Harris and the 43? Because they also have the ruling that if you cause an incident that doesn't bring out a caution, you do have to serve a pass-through penalty. We're going to drop back, see if we can catch a replay that might lead us to the answer of why the 43 came down pit road under green flag conditions.
I don't see anything at the moment. Oh, hold on. There was one. Let's see.
Glenn Harris actually came to pit road under green flag conditions. So
Oh, okay. There was a bit of a wreck that wasn't actually a wreck. Bob Seminara and Glenn Harris both might have hit off of him on the inside there. Yep. He bounced off the 43 up into the 12, and I guess they called that on Richard Martin.
Let's look at it. Just going into the third corner. There you see the contact and up into the wall for both the 712 and the 08. So the 08 did come to pit road. That was for damage repair. The 712 is still out there, and the 43, who apparently claimed the responsibility, came down and served his penalty under green flag conditions. So no caution coming out for that. We still remain green, but not without incident. And pretty good shot that Bob Seminara took with the right side of his truck. He's still sporting that back bumper damage, though he is still in the lead pack and appears to be up to speed.
These trucks are durable.
They are indeed, as we've got the outside line forming once again. Chris Elliott, David Cannon, Dante Ricky there as well. Elliott's been able to get alongside of Grant Wesley for third place, looking to continue that momentum here through the tri-oval and into turn one. There's only 4 trucks right now on that inside line. There's about 8 trucks on the outside line. Look at the run that Chuck McClure was able to get. Whoa, little contact there. David Cannon a little out of shape. Maybe a bad bump from Dante Ricky. That was very nearly the big one.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, a little heart-stopping moment. Now you see the space there between the trucks. Nothing like a truck getting squirrely in the middle of the pack at 200 miles per hour for everybody to kind of back things down.
Plus they're catching the lap car here. He's going to go to the very outside.
Glenn Harris, tough night there for the pole sitter. Had to make that unscheduled stop under green flag conditions. And he's going to go a lap down now. He had managed to make his pit stop and return back to the track on the lead lap. So should he get a caution, he would be in a free pass position. He is the only driver right now that is -1. Of course, with RTG rules, 2 drivers get the free pass under each caution. 079 of Nathan Balser. He's trying to work his way now into the top 10 with help from Josh McCall. Joe DeSpirito right behind him as well. They're in the 24. Another driver sporting a different paint scheme this season. The bright red and blue Exalta colors. Of course, throwback to Jeff Gordon. Like they're catching the 43 of Richard Martin. So he would go a lap down. Dante taking a peek there on David Cannon. Gonna stay in line as the top, like 13 trucks are all single file. Already a third of the way through this race. This one's kind of flown by here in the early going.
One caution.
And about 7-8 laps away from that target lap of when these drivers might be coming to pit road. Want to apologize that we don't have the lap counter up for everybody. We did have some crossover that we had to do with our broadcasting system, and I forgot to put the lap counter onto the screen, so that will be there next week. We'll kind of keep you guys...
It's all his fault.
It is my fault. So we'll keep you guys aware of what lap these drivers are currently on as best we can during the course of this broadcast. As these guys up here towards the front, single file, and while single file is good, single file gives you optimal speed, we usually end up seeing a lot of chain bumping, and I would say the passenger chain bumping can lead just as much to a wreck as 3 wide situations can.
Yeah, absolutely. Send one car up into the wall, and the next thing you know, there's 8 cars piling in.
And it's up here towards the front, too. Your top 3, 4, 5 all doing that chain bumping. So if it breaks out, especially if it takes place in the corner, not going to be a whole lot of exit routes available to the drivers mid-pack and rear of the field. So as we have the green flag pit stops approaching, one thing we should document that people will be seeing here that may be tuning into their first broadcast here for the Talladega Challenge Series. A lot of these drivers are well versed in the art of what is known as hot pitting. I was watching a number of drivers actually practicing that in happy hour. Some successful, some not so successful. Basically, how it works here at Talladega, hot pitting is when you are hard on the brakes coming to pit road. If you lift off the brakes at 55 miles per hour, pit road means that you have been going at 55 miles per hour the entirety of pit lane. But if you let off the brake anywhere above 55 miles per hour, it may read that you have gotten a speeding penalty. A lot of drivers have been really able to fly into the entry of pit road, be able to get the thing low down, release off the brake, and still have it below pit road speed. It gains them a ton of track position, but we've also seen it go horribly wrong sometimes. A lot of times we've had incidents and wrecks that take place at the entrance of pit road, and usually in those cases, Michael, drivers don't have a caution come out to save them.
Exactly, and we'll see, and then their pretty much day is done if they don't get another caution after that. So there's the pros and cons of hot pitting, and personally, I don't think there's any way I'd be able to do it.
Better to be safe than sorry. I've tried hot pitting a couple of times. I have maybe a 1% success ratio. It's better than a 0% success ratio, I guess.
So you're saying there's a chance?
You're saying that I'm saying there's a chance. Slim, but a chance. We end up seeing a number of these drivers take part in that Speedway All-Star race a couple of weeks ago at Atlanta, and even there they were actually doing hot pitting, and that was a thing to see. A lot of drivers, they were sliding the tires, they were smoking the fronts, they were spinning out, but they were still trying.
Seth, look who's in fifth.
Got McClure. I mean, let's remind everybody what happened last year's season opener when McClure took that checkered flag. It was on fumes. The two drivers running right now in 4th and 5th, Ryan Schilling and Chuck McClure, they were able to stretch it in the closing stages on fumes. They literally coasted across the start finish line, McClure picking up the win and Schilling crossing in second. We may end up seeing lightning strike yet again here this season. We'll have to wait and see. As I'm hearing, Michael, these guys are about 3 laps away from when they're going to have to start on pit road. We already got some takers.
Oh boy, here we go.
Ryan Schilling, Chuck McClure going to be the first ones in. Joe DeSpirito, Chris Elliott. Whoa, Chris had a very early pit stall there, had to cross in front of 2 lanes of traffic, but he makes it safely on. Tom Dixon, Cy Jones, Bernie Mobbs, Mark Paglia, Tim Nofsker, Curlin Hurst, Milt Surratt, all on pit lane. Wiley Coate appeared to be on pit road there in the 6th. So we should see another group of drivers probably on pit road this time by.
We will see.
And if my math is correct, these drivers, once they complete this round of pit stops, they're going to have to make at least one more. Oh, Terry Bombard! Look out! Oh, he gets David Cannon in the 3. He migrates up towards the outside of the racetrack. That might bring out a caution.
No caution.
No caution, no oncoming traffic. If there had been drivers still on the racing surface in the vicinity, it probably would have brought a yellow, but tough break there for David Cannon, who was running up in the top 5 for most of this race.
Another person I noticed as well coming into pit road, Jessica Shelton. She was not involved in anything, but she did miss the actual entrance to pit road, so she might be having a 30-second penalty.
You got to make that commitment line, or else you would end up getting a timed penalty as you documented. So we'll follow up on that, as I believe everybody came down pit road there on that 2nd lap of green flag pit stops. So we'll see who cycles out to where. We're going to follow the 4 of Ryan Schilling, the 17 of Chuck McClure, because they were some of the first to hit pit road in group number 1. Make their way by Ken Roberts, and now going by Josh Metallic. They are up to speed. There's Jeremy Jeffries in the 8, and I believe the next 2 trucks up ahead would be the battle for the race lead. That's Grant Wesley and Dante Ricky.
That is correct.
So we got 2 truck tandeming going on right now. The 88 and the 84, the 4 and the 17. Like Bob Dixon, the 143, he might go a lap down here. Got a few drivers currently off the lead lap. I believe that Manny D got lapped just prior to these green flag pit stops also. Martin. Dixon will now go -1 as here comes Schilling, here comes McClure, and there's the 3 of David Cannon. I'm pretty sure David Cannon would have also gotten a 30-second penalty, not of his own doing, but I don't think he had made it to the commitment line when Bombard got into him, so it would have shot him outside of the commitment line past it, and more than likely that's why he has just gone a lap down. Trying to see about other drivers that might have had issues on pit road. I've noticed that the 011 of Mike Rogers, he is quite a ways back. He might have either tagged for speeding or might have missed the commitment line. You talked about Jessica Shelton, she's quite a ways back. And then also it appears that Donnie Garrett in the 77 is quite a ways back also. Also seeing Kelly Causey issued a black flag. See if the 00 is going to have to duck onto pit lane here in the next lap or two.
Inside lane coming.
It's Jeremy Jeffries heading that bottom line. Josh Metallic right there with him, along with Tim Nosker. Got quite a bit of traffic up ahead that the leaders are going to have to deal with. If I'm not mistaken, that's the last 3 drivers on the lead lap. Garrett, Shelton, and Rogers just now moving a lap down. So in the next lap or two, we could have as many as 9 drivers battling for the 2 lucky dog positions. That's if we end up getting a caution between now and the end of the race. And here's the bad news for these guys. They're going to have to come to pit road at least one more time. And I was going to mention when they were all diving for that first group, right now, if my calculations are correct, even after that pit stop, they're going to be about 4 to 5 laps short of making it to the finish. So, talked about the fact that last year's season opener ended on fuel strategy. We might be seeing the case of deja vu.
Going by the lap cars now.
Elton and Rogers now
Officially
going -1.
Officially halfway through.
We are indeed. So let's give you a bit of a rundown of your top 10 after the pit stop cycles were completed. Your defending champ, Grant Wesley, out in front. Dante Ricky in second. Brian Schilling third. Chuck McClure in fourth. Joe DeSpirito's now up to fifth. Tim Nosker crossed the line in sixth. Mark Paglia seventh. Jeremy Jeffries in eighth. Josh Metallic ninth. And Chris Elliott completed the top 10. That's obviously going to change as about the latter half of the top 10. They're racing side by side with Paglia and Jeffries. But it looks like we've got 18 drivers in this lead pack. And last time by 24 drivers currently scored on the lead lap. A couple of drivers that have lost touch with this lead group that are back in their own little pack. John Godfrey, Jason Scheck, Billy Elliser, and Cy Jones. They've got quite a bit of distance before they end up getting lapped. They're only about 10 to 13 seconds respectively behind the race leaders. One driver I'm noticing that is up here in this lead pack still, despite the fact we saw him get damaged going, is the 712 of Bob Seminara. It's, as we say, kind of a wait-and-see game when drivers receive damage. What looks like is just a minor, minuscule amount of contact can actually have a driver lose a couple miles per hour of straightaway speed, and then an impact that looks like the driver is going to be perfectly fine, or it looks like the driver is actually going to be back in the garage area. They're up inside the top 10, up inside the top 5, still in the conversation, still up to speed as long as they're able to remain in the draft. I don't think that really Bob Seminara fits either one of those equations. The tiny bit of damage on that back bumper, so really maybe cosmetic rather than anything.
Cosmetic better than engine damage. It just means that you probably won't have a good of a shot to lead a pack.
Absolutely. And Bob Seminara, of course, was a driver that we were looking at last season as a potential favorite to win the championship. Won the regular season championship, was one of the most consistent drivers on the year, but just missed out on advancing into the championship four in the season finale. Got Bernie Mobbs right behind him there in the 31. Mobbs was a playoff contender last season. And now we've kind of entered into the portion of the race the drivers like to call the setting up period, where they're getting themselves positioned for that final pit stop. Try and gain 1 or 2 positions here on the racetrack to give them a better opportunity of gaining even more spots when they eventually get to pit road. For Grant Wesley, talked about the fact that Chuck McClure ended up winning the season opener on fuel strategy. I remember back, I think it was the first season that we broadcasted of the Tally Challenge, where Grant Wesley was able to pull off the fuel strategy miracle. Well, that's not going to be the case right now, because being the lead truck, he is using up the most fuel, creating the draft for everybody else behind him.
Yep, it's never fun being the leader. It's hard to, it's the hardest to save fuel, because you pretty much can't when you lead a pack like that. So you kind of want to be back where maybe like the 143 is, and just kind of ride on the outside, maybe half
There's Ken Roberts taking a look to the inside of Mark Paglia, trying to get something going on the bottom. Rock is with him in the 80. So far here tonight, Ken Roberts has led the most laps, 15 in total. Grant Wesley is approaching that. Oh, wow! What a save by the 17. I don't know if he got a bad bump from Despirito or what. And now Milt Surratt's on the apron. Curlin Hurst is on the apron. What is going on?
I do not know, but I'm sure there are a couple of people back here hoping that if there's a caution.
That was interesting. Now Jeremy Jeffries is dropping back. Boy, that was like a almost wreck and then a couple of almost reactionary wrecks. You had 2 trucks down on the apron of 3 and 4. Surratt and Hurst, and somehow, some way, we still stay under green. Everybody's good, it looks like, but that 93 of Curlin Hurst is going to be the one to pay the price. He's now lost touch with the lead pack, and he is losing ground. But going back to the lap leaders, Grant Wesley just completed his 11th lap out in front. Donnie Garrett has led 7 laps. Pole sitter Glenn Harris led 3, and then 1 lap led apiece for Bob Seminara, Milt Surratt, and Jason Scheck. We have had another driver taken back to the garage area. Manny D will get credited for 35th here tonight. He joins Wayne Tripp now in the infield as Kelly Quasi, winner from last season, the playoff contender from last season. We ended up seeing him on our telemetry, issued a black flag for speeding on pit road, had to come down, serve that penalty, and subsequently now he goes a lap down under green flag conditions. So we've got the battle within the battle right now. You've got the battle at the front for the race lead, but then you've also got the battle for the lucky dog position. Right now, the free pass position would belong to the 143 of Bob Dixon and the 77 of Donnie Garrett. They are right now the first 2 trucks 1 lap down. Back on another 3 trucks to find Jessica Shelton. And then you go back a little bit further, and that's where Kelly Causey is currently at, and he may not be able to latch onto this lead pack. So at this point in time, you've got, well, actually add Mike Rogers in that 011 into the mix as well. So you've got 4 trucks in this lead group that are battling for the 2 free pass positions. That is if we end up getting a caution between now and the end of the race. And these drivers came down pit road, what was it, lap 31 if I'm not mistaken. So we're looking around lap 50.
It was between 26 and 29 that came down pit road.
All right, so we're looking, what, the next 6 to 8 laps that these drivers would have to be back down pit road once again. Lap 43 goes on the board for race leader Grant Wesley.
Go as far to say is Grant Wesley might be have the most laps led.
We will see here tonight who's going to get that first checkered flag of the season. Of course, these drivers will be back next Thursday night to cover race 2. We will be off on the third race of the season. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the date is the 15th. But then we'll be back at it for race 4. And we'll recap everything that happened in race 3. I might double check that.
It's the 14th.
Is it the 14th?
Yeah, because we leave on the 13th, remember?
Yeah, but isn't the 15th a Thursday? Why are we arguing about this?
13th is a Tuesday, 14th is a Wednesday.
Right. Joe DeSpirito got kicked out of line.
Listen, I have to be right about something.
You do. DeSpirito now getting kicked back outside of the top 5, maybe even the top 10. Not sure exactly what happened to him there. He left the door open for Nofsker in the 088, and Nofsker was more than happy to take that inside line. The 24 got freight trained. I don't know if maybe DeSpirito, if he might have gotten on the apron and pushed up, might be dropping back to hook up with his teammates in the 712 to 31. Dante Ricky, I think he's staying committed to the 88. There's been a couple of times he's kind of peeked out just a little bit on that left rear quarter panel as if he wants to make a move. He's been shoving the back bumper of the 88 there as well. You see right there that little bit of a shimmy by Grant Wesley's truck. That was the impact of Dante Ricky's front bumper to his back bumper. Got to be careful with that. You don't want to end up having bumper grab. You don't want to end up having chain bumping. So many different ways that super speedway racing can trip you up. And look at this. Let's follow this battle. Jessica Shelton, along with Donnie Garrett, they're working together, and they're both going to maybe go around Bob Dixon. That would put both of them, the 48 and the 77, into the lucky dog positions.
Trying every way they possibly can to get up there. Belton's no stranger to Talladega racing.
And now Shelton and Garrett, they've gotten that task completed, got around the 143. They're going to tuck back in line. And now hope and pray that a caution comes out to be able to save their race, which will be 20 laps away from completion when Grant Wesley leads us back around to the start-finish line this time. Whoa! Mark Hagley on the 28s. Hard to tell there if maybe a little bumper grab came into play. At first, I thought he was going to come to pit road.
That's what I was thinking. A couple of more cars pitting this time.
So now the window is open. These drivers will be heading to pit lane. We've already seen.
I just realized what's the pit window?
19 to 21 laps, depending on how long you stay in the draft.
We're not even at that point yet.
We're at 20 laps to go.
Not yet. Yes, we are. I can't math. Don't listen to me.
I can't calendar and you can't math. We're in trouble.
Oh, well, here we go.
Here we go. We've already seen pit road get a couple of people in that first round. Oh, DeSpirito. He made the commitment line, but he overshot into the grass.
Line, yep.
Like everybody,
boy,
for the most part.
Hot pitting must really be a drag when you have a really early pit stop.
Right? That's actually something, that's a great point, because we talked with a number of drivers last season who talked about that with getting the random qualifying spot, having the early pit stop. It is so difficult to be able to get that thing woed down and not overshoot your pit stall. I believe Josh Metallic, Tim Nofsker, a couple of drivers were marked on that last season.
But we got Shelton leading this pack, and we'll see how they come down pit road. We'll see if Shelton's better as a leader.
And here we go. On to pit road they come. Oh, Jeremy Jeffries locked it up, got into the passenger side door of Metallic, but like they all made it on with relative ease. Oh, Brian Schilling, black flag for the 4, I'm being told.
He was 10th place last time by.
There's this group coming down pit road that was basically a couple of lap trucks, and the second pack there is Schilling coming down to serve his penalty. Bernie Mobbs in the 31 has been hit with a black flag. This was the money stop. stop. This was the final pit stop pretty much of the day. Should we go green from here to the checkers? And that is a tough break for a couple of drivers that were playoff contenders last season. Takes them out of the running at this point in time. I mean, there's going to be almost a dozen drivers, I think, that are going to be looking up at the flag stand saying, please, Mr. Flagman, please throw a caution.
Here come the top two.
Grant
Wesley, Ricky, and Grant Wesley.
Yep, they're going to be locked up again. This worked out perfectly for them as they were able to tandem right off of pit road. Bumpers locked once more. Not going to say it's a two-horse race because there's plenty of opportunity for a big pack to be able to reel them in, but I don't think they could have planned this any better. Wait, Grant Wesley's come back to pit road. Did he get a black flag? He did! Grant Wesley was hit with a black flag penalty for speeding.
31 coming in as well.
Wow! Grant Wesley, who up to this point had led the most laps, was trying to build off of his championship year last season. He had to hit pit road late, and look at this battle for the lead. Nate Balser, with help from the lap trucks, he's going to get around for the top spot. Brings Tim Novsker, Dave Melson, and Chuck McClure along with him.
Coming to 16 laps to go this time by.
Nathan Balser, if I'm not mistaken, ran his first full-time season last year. He was up a top 10 contender several times during the course of that season. How would it be for the driver of the Monster Energy Ford, or correction, Chevrolet, if he was able to win the season opener and basically clinch himself a playoff spot early on in the going?
Yeah, that'd be absolutely crazy. First time winner in quite a while, second full-time season, and for the cars in front of him, they can only, at this point, can only think about what if.
Got 5 lead lap trucks in this pack. Back to Dante Ricky. They're about to be joined, though. Jeremy Jeffries, Rodney Sullins, Mark Paglia, and Bob Seminara, along with maybe the 80 of Bill Scott, about to make it 10 drivers that would be in the running of winning this race. They just caught the 22 of Greg Palmer, put him a lap down, and we should also mention, there still is the possibility of a caution coming out. If the caution comes out now, the 77 and the 48 are running ahead of the 079. They are on the tail end of the lead lap, which means Bob Dixon and Mike Rogers are currently running in the free pass positions, and there's the 39 of Josh Metallic going a lap down. I don't remember seeing him issue with a black flag on my telemetry, but that might have been the case. All of a sudden, our champion from 2 seasons ago has been put -1. There are some big names right now, Michael, that are not going to get the finishes they were looking for here in the season opener. Schilling, Bobs, Wesley. Looks like DeSpirito. Something happened with the 24. We'd end up seeing him get into the grass when he came to pit lane. I don't know if he was issued a black flag or not, but he's all the way back trying to hang on to the tail end of the lead lap in 17th.
He might have got a penalty for going off into the grass.
There's a lot of big names, a lot of former champions that are going to be looking to rebound next week. But again, we said it at the top of the broadcast. You look back at the Grant Wesley story from last season, you got to have that never give up attitude because every race is a brand new opportunity to win your way into the playoffs. I mean, Grant didn't even make his first start until race 3.
The distance between the 79 and the 088 right there. Thought maybe that was Novsker trying to back up to get a better run, maybe try to make a run at it, but unless he's just testing it out.
What has the adrenaline level got to be right now if you're Nathan Balser? I mean, you're out in front, leading this race. Next time by 12 laps to go, away from possibly winning your first career race.
Yeah, that was such a long time at this place.
Brian Schilling up ahead. He's about to go a lap down. keep your eyes on that 38 of Dave Nelson, the Wonder Bread Chevy Silverado. He came on strong at the end of last season, had a couple of top 5 runs in the last 4 races, so he might have something to say about this. And Chuck McClure, last year's season opener, trying to make it back-to-back in race 1 in back-to-back seasons. He's right there in the conversation too, in the 17 truck.
We're gonna see what happens here.
See that gap again there, about half a truck length from Knopfsker up to Nathan Balser, and I think you are absolutely right. I think he's trying to see if he can generate enough momentum with the track to get the run. Closing the gap up now, might make his move here through the tri-oval. We'll wait and see. Now still maintains about that half truck length. So I'm not certain exactly what he's waiting on, unless I don't see any visible damage. Maybe Knopfsker's got some damage that's not allowing him to draft up to the back of the 079.
I'm not too sure. I think he's just kind of waiting and timing it out. It's all about timing.
Another driver will not reach the conclusion of this race. David Cannon pulled it on to pit road about 8 laps ago. He'll finish out the season opener in the 34th position. 22 drivers on the lead lap right now, including the 77 and 38. Right now running ahead of the race leader. Bernie Mobbs might go a lap down though. In the 31, you saw his leaf filter Dodge just up ahead. Note these drivers will not have to come to pit road again. They all came to pit lane around the vicinity of 20 laps to go. If you think about it here too, having these 2 trucks on the tail lead lap ahead of Nathan Balser, this is really helping him out, because now he doesn't have to be out in front using up the fuel. He's actually got the benefit of someone to draft behind, so there is no question mark on him making it the 20 lap distance on fuel.
Not only that, but when it comes down to it, he can use those cars.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up seeing Garrett and Shelton actually helped Nathan Balser get the race lead. They jumped to the outside of Dante Ricky and pulled him around the 84 to take the top position. So, yeah, no doubt about it. They helped him get in the front. They might be able to help him stay at the front. And there's a couple of guys back here, too, that I don't think we should lose sight of. They were able to draft back up to this lead group. Jeremy Jeffries, Rodney Sullins, Mark Paglia there in the 28, Bob Seminara. We saw him on a replay up into the outside wall. He's managed to stay on the lead lap. He's still up to speed. He's still got a shot of winning this season opener, even with a kind of bowed-in back bumper.
Absolutely.
Last truck in this lead group would have a shot at the win, if we do not see a caution, would be the 80 of Milt Surratt. Got the second pack back here, too. I mean, you know, obviously all those guys up there want to take the checkered flag, but it's just as important back here for Group 2 to finish in the 11th position, because it pays out more points than 12th and 13th. So you've got Billy Ellison, Wiley Coate, Ken Roberts, John Godfrey, Curlin Hurst. They're all mixing it up here inside the latter half of the top 15.
Oh, there they go.
Knopfsker finds a way to the inside. Nathan Balser, Dave Nelson's going to go with him, and everybody's going to go down to that inside line. The lap trucks stay on the top side to try and aid the 079, but there are too many numbers on the bottom. Now the question is, does anybody jump up to the top side here and leave the 088 out to dry? Doesn't look like it. Point. And you're probably wondering, is it too early to make this kind of a move? Remember this, Michael. We've got lap trucks. Completion of lap 62 is around the point that we've dubbed the point of no return. A caution flag would end the race at that point in time. We're only about 2 laps shy of that window, so I don't think this is too early to make that move at all.
Nope, not at all. It's probably what I expect. Like I said, it takes a long time to get around this racetrack, almost a minute for these trucks to get around, and anything can happen in that time.
It's scenario right now for Tim Knopfsker because you got a lap truck to your
more
outside,
outside, yeah.
tail end lap truck to your outside, so you're not battling them for position. That's allowing you to box Dave Melson from going anywhere as he's trapped on the inside line. You talked about that third line there with Schilling and Metallic. I was going to be interested to see if anybody elected to jump up there to the third groove.
The outside lane getting their strength back.
They are indeed. Nathan Balser says, no, not so fast. I got friends up in this middle line. He's trying to pull back alongside of that big Chevrolet of Tim Knopfsker. It might be close here at the start-finish line as to who's going to lead this lap. Melson apron, McClure apron, they save it, and there's all the momentum gone for the inside line.
Yep.
That's really good saves here tonight.
Now the 79's just got to watch out for Dante Ricky in the back, because now as we're getting 3 wide back there, a wreck will more than likely end the race.
Yeah, Dante Ricky did not drive full-time last season. Here he goes, drives it to the inside. Does anybody go with him? Seminara's going to stay up on the top. Now he's going to drive to the bottom.
There it is. There's the wreck. That's it.
Caution is out, so we are going to stay with this battle back to the line. This is for the victory. Balser trying to pin down the 84 of Dante Ricky. I think he's got him. Oh, it's going to be close.
He got it. 79 got it.
Got it. Balser is going to get his first career win, barring mechanical problems, because remember, we still got 3 pace laps here. But he is about to
77 and the 94 get to go around and get back technically on the lead lap.
That's true.
So they will finish 20th and 21st on the lead lap.
Who was involved in the race-ending caution? Not certain. I thought the 28 of Mark Paglia kind of like he was trying to avoid a wreck, so it might have been in his vicinity. But I'm not 100% certain who it was. There you see the skid marks through 3 and 4. Only see one set of skid marks, so it may have just been a potentially 1 or maybe 2 truck incident. We'll go back and take a look here as the leaders are still waiting for the pace car to pick them up. Nathan Balser, who has quite a number of victories over on the Open Speedway server, he's about to pick up his first win under the Rolling Thunder Gaming banner here tonight. How about that, Nathan Balser? Maybe beginning the season already locked into his first career playoff berth. As we're going to try and pinpoint who it was that brought out that race-ending yellow. I think it was up in the lead pack. Maybe the 39 of Josh Metallic. Oh, yeah. Yep. Contact. This is almost similar to what happened with Bob Seminara earlier on in the race with the 3 wide and the truck on the inside pushing up. Watch the 38 of Dave Melson. He slides up into Bernie Mobbs up the track into Metallic and Paglia. But unlike the Bob Seminara contact, Metallic's car gets spun around off the nose of the 28. And subsequently, the caution had to fly and will end this race under yellow flag conditions. A break there for Josh Metallic. Bad night goes worse as he was already 2 laps down in the 31st position. I believe the only driver, well, there were 2 drivers that were on the same lap as he was, Chris Elliott and Kelly Causey. Come back to live. Going to be 2 laps to go when they cross the start-finish line this next time. And Nathan Balser, he's just hoping that he continues to hear the engine running, because that would be really a mechanical failure. Would be the only thing denying him from his first career victory here in the Tally Challenge. As a matter of fact, let's go back here And let's follow the battle back to the proverbial checkered flag, the caution flag here, before we come back and see Nathan Balser pick up the victory. Let's slow-mo it a little bit here through 3 and 4. Try and get a good camera angle. So this is coming out of turn 4. Bob Seminara going to jump up to the top side there. Thinks about 3 wide. Knopfsker jumps down to the bottom with Dante Ricky. We almost had our leaders wreck here through the tri-oval. Watch as Balser comes down to try and pin the 84. They do make a little bit of contact right there. But Balser is able to get to the line first by a little less than half a truck length. That would be enough for him to capture the victory. Don't know if Dante Ricky was all that thrilled about the contact coming to the line. Pulled up a little close to that left rear quarter panel. Looks like he is going to be finishing in second place. Bob Seminara is right now in the 3rd spot. Knopfsker in 5th, and Dave Melson in, or make that Knopfsker in 4th rather, and Melson in 5th. And Chuck McClure, Rodney Sullins, Jeremy Jeffries, Milt Surratt, and Mark Paglia are currently going to be your top 10 should they all cross the start-finish line. We got one more lap when they hit the start-finish line before the checkered flag will be waving. Dalton and Garrett indeed going to be finishing in 20th and 21st on the lead lap with this caution ending the race. There are no lucky dogs. All the drivers that were a lap down or more will remain so in the final finishing results. We'll have 21 drivers finishing on the lead lap. Looks like 32 drivers will reach the conclusion. Tom Dixon, just moments ago, brought his number 45 to the garage to join David Cannon, Manny D, and Wade Pribnow, so he'll finish the season opener in 33rd place. What we saw the last couple of seasons, drivers get those underdog victories and make their first appearances in the playoffs. A couple of seasons ago, it was Ken Roberts. Last season, it was Kelly Causey and Milt Surratt, as well as Rodney Sullins. No telling who else may end up getting their first playoff appearance here this season, but you know that Nathan Balser is going to be one of the first. As that time by, white flag was displayed. I can only imagine the range of emotions that would have had to have been going through Nathan Balser's mind there. Had to battle Knopfsker to keep the race lead. Had to battle Dante Ricky to get back to the start-finish line. Mere laps away from capturing the checkered flag. And now he had about 3 laps to let it all sink in around a 2.66 mile super speedway at 70 miles per hour. I don't know if that's enough time to be able to process it all, but no doubt, I think this, well, I mean, probably not. I think more than anything, rather than a sense of relief, a sense of excitement, it'd be a sense of dread of, all right, what could possibly go wrong in these 3 laps and take this win away from me?
Oh, we're about to find out.
So Nathan Balser kind of leapt onto the scene here in the closing stages of this race. It was the beginning of this race, the Ken Roberts show, and then Grant Wesley took over around the midway portion before receiving that speeding penalty. But then after that happened, Nathan Balser got to the point and really never looked back. Had the aid of those, well, we'll call them tail end of the lead lap trucks of Garrett and Shelton that helped keep him up there at the front. And now, as for Daytona, he'll only be a couple hundred feet away from getting the checkered flag, but up the start-finish line's all the way down, almost to the entrance of turn 1, so he's got to think about it just a little bit more. But Nathan Balser, moments away from picking up his first checkered flag of his Talladega Challenge Series career. What a season opener, Michael. I mean, who had this scripted?
Absolutely. Can't script anything in this series.
Coming down.
It's too unpredictable.
To the start-finish line, and it is official. Nathan Balser is your winner of the Season 57 RTG Tally Challenge season opener. My goodness. No, yeah, why not? Let's get the burnout started right now.
Acting in the inside wall.
This kind of has the Kelly Causey race victory vibes to it from last season. You talk about the veterans with all that experience. The young guns who also have experience, but maybe not quite as much running with this group of drivers. When they're able to go to victory lane, you can just see that all the other drivers offering the congratulations, the celebratory bumps. I'm also not going to do much of a burnout. Did a little burnout there in turn one. I thought he'd come around to the start-finish line, but not going to do that. We got some drivers out here still having some fun. Grant Wesley, Jessica Shelton. Oh boy. Oh, and then Jeremy Jeffries. Well, Jess is dead. Wow. Well, this race took a couple hundred turns in the closing stages of this race. A lot of our front runners getting penalties. A lot of drivers that had run into issues in the early going, able to mount comebacks to finish up inside of the top 10 and top 5. And we're now going to show you the full finishing results from this race. We gave you the top 10. Billy Elliser going to bring it home in 11th. Curlin Hurst in 12th. Remember the 93 had actually had a great save over in turn 3 with about 20 laps to go and lost the lead pack. He's still going to get a solid finish inside the top 15 with Wiley Coate in 13th, John Godfrey 14th, and Ken Roberts will finish it out in 15th. Joe DeSpirito was 16th. Grant Wesley, who led the most laps here tonight by 1. He's going to bring it home in 17th after that pit road penalty. Cy Jones 18th, Jessica Shelton in 19th, and Jason Scheck's going to get credited for 20th. Not certain what happened there with 77 of Donnie Garrett. I don't know if he might have driven backwards before race days were official. They've got him slated in 21st, 1 lap down. Brian Schilling, 22nd, 23rd, Greg Palmer, Bernie Mobbs, and Bob Dixon complete the top 25, and the rest of the drivers here end up finishing off of the lead lap. A couple of playoff contenders from last season, Josh Metallic, 2 laps down, 31st, and Kelly Causey, 2 laps down in 32nd. And we documented the 4 drivers back in the garage area: Dixon, Cannon, Manny D, and Wayne Pribnow. Only saw 2 cautions here tonight, one in the early going of this race and then one that ended the race under caution. 2 rounds of green flag pit stops. This is going to be really interesting, Michael, to see how certain drivers can keep the momentum up heading into next week. And on the flip side, drivers who didn't have the best of season openers, how they're going to be able to try and gain the points back that they lost here tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be one thing to find out. You never know what's going to happen.
Let's see if we can talk with our podium finishers here this evening. And let's kick things off with a driver that didn't have the best of starts, but was able to bring that thing home with a solid outing, damage and all. See if we can get a word with Bob Seminara. Hey, Bob, it's Michael and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yeah, what's up, boys?
Well, I'll tell you what, we talked about last season, one of the most consistent drivers out there, won the regular season championship. Looks like you're picking up right where you left off with a podium finish here tonight, but we ended up seeing a incident take place that didn't bring out a yellow. You getting up into the wall, sported that rear bumper damage pretty much the majority of this race. It didn't look like it slowed you down at all, but I mean, at that point, how worried were you that you might not be able to be in the conversation for the victory in the closing stages?
Yeah, hey, yeah, I got pounded pretty good there. I didn't see that coming, but straightened it out. And yeah, the next couple of pit stops, I did try to fix the damage, and then I turned it off so I wouldn't get held up because they were green flag stops. And yeah, no, the car was still pretty good. I was surprised. I usually don't have that kind of luck, but it was wild.
With the craziness of the last green flag pit stops, with all those cars getting the black flags, what was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, I think pitted early, me and Bernie, which almost cost me. I needed that caution there at the end. I was tight on fuel. But yeah, I missed all that. Had a good pit stop. I was all the way in the back there. Bernie sped, but he stayed out with me, helped me out, caught the lead draft, and then it was on from there. Yeah, a lot of good guys had trouble in the pits.
Now, we ended up seeing last season quite a number of drivers make the playoffs for the first time. Causey got in with a victory. Sullins got in with a victory. Surratt got in via points. We kick off tonight with the driver getting their first career win in the season opener in Nathan Balser. I mean, it's almost looking like right now a lot of these drivers that we've seen just start coming into this series in the last 2, 3 seasons, they're starting to really learn from you guys that have been doing this season after season. So, how much pressure does that put on you as a veteran of the series to up your game and try and combat what they've been able to learn from you guys?
Yeah, I know. It's great to see guys like Nate get that win. They bring in pedigree here too. So yeah, everybody's stepping it up. It's not as easy as it used to be, but we're still doing what we have to do. I had a couple of mistakes there at the end of the season last year, what cost me. So we'll just go back at it again. But yeah, it's very competitive out here. A lot of guys got a shot every week.
Well, Bob, a great run for you here tonight. Able to bring that thing home on the podium. Going to have some good points heading into next week. Congratulations on the great performance. Before we let you go, we'll give you the opportunity to thank some sponsors and do some shout outs.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, third's great for me tonight. That was a rough race. Shout out to Q, LC, FTMF, Florida boys. Yeah, we'll be back next week. RTG and FRN, you guys are great. So yeah, we'll come back next week. Thanks.
Bob Seminary, a third place finisher here tonight in the season opener of season 57 of the Tally Challenge series. Congratulations once again, and yeah, best of luck next week.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Let's see if we can now get the guy that brought it home in second place here tonight, Dante Ricky. Hey, Dante, it's Michael and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got a copy?
Absolutely, guys. Good evening.
Man, I'll tell you what, photo finishes are always exciting when you're a fan watching it go down, but it's heartbreaking when you're the bridesmaid. You got so close to winning the season opener here tonight. I mean, what little more did you need? Because it looked like momentum was both on the top and the bottom.
I think I made that move just a tiny bit too early. I think it was all about timing the move. And everybody up front, we had some lap cars mixed in. We had Jessica and Donnie, they were battling for position, trying their best to catch that yellow flag just in time. Well, it came right near the finish of the race. And everybody made a move to try and win the race. And that's the main thing. Everybody needs to compete to do what they have to do to try and win. And congratulations to Mr. Nate for his victory. I've raced with Nate for a very long time, and it is always a pleasure to see him up front right when it matters the most. Really, really talented driver, and I know Nate is going to have an excellent season. And good race to Bob as well for being up there most of the night, coming back from that setback and having a shot to be there at the finish also was amazing. And just the timing of things I think is what really made the difference. And again, I knew we were going to be close in the tri-oval there. Nate came down a little bit. I came up a little bit. And I said, you know what? I better go to the bottom to just get out of the way. I did not want to gain any advantage by going to the apron. I simply wanted to make sure the finish was a clean one.
And
So
I'll tell you,
it was crazy.
what was going through your mind when you lost your drafting partner up there when he got a black flag on that last round of green flag pit stops?
Yeah, I feel bad for Grant there, Mike. It was really tough because Grant ran an amazing race, has had a lot of good success the past couple nights and weeks here at RTG, and he's a driver who usually hits his marks, and it's got to be tough for him. And he drove an amazing race to be up front. And black flags and speeding in the pit road, that's just part of what we do. A lot of good people got caught there at the last round of pit stops and first round of pit stops too, for that matter. So the pit road really decides these races, I think. more than any other factor, and we saw that tonight.
You know, we talk about it all the time with the in-game cautions near the end of the race. So difficult to time when that caution comes out. I mean, as a driver, do you have to just kind of read the signs of what's going on around you as to when to make that move? Or do you, like in the case that we had here tonight, do you wait to see the caution fly before you then start to formulate a plan? Because it came out when you guys came off of turn 3, so you still had a straightaway to be able to try and make a move for the win.
Right, and I wanted to make sure I had every option available to me. I figured that the outside line was going to come back before the end of the race, assuming a yellow hadn't come out. Of course, the yellow came very early before anybody could get a run on the outside up top. But the concern for me was I had just gotten back up to the middle lane. I lost a few positions a few laps earlier due to the moves made behind me to go to the bottom. But I said, let's wait in the middle a little bit because I know there's going to be a possible third lane. I saw Schilling in the mirror. I saw some lap cars in front of me, some lap cars behind me making those moves. And I'm like, well, the lane's going to be there if I want it. But sure enough, it disappeared. I stood my ground in the middle, controlled the middle, followed Nate up back to the front, pushed him to the lead right behind Jessica and Donnie there. And I saw more lap cars approaching and some stuff in the mirror that kind of bothered me. So that's why I made my move to the inside and I knew we were under 5. So it was really a lucky guess. But could I have waited a little longer? Yes. The outcome would have been different either way. Maybe someone else goes to the bottom and someone else goes to the top. The key factor, though, we didn't rely on anybody's help. We did our best to do what we could to win the race. And that's what any driver, I think, especially this early in the season, should do.
Well, a great start to the season for you here tonight. Some really good points with that second place performance, and up there inside of the top 10, top 5, pretty much the entirety of the night. So, looking forward to see you build off this momentum down the course of the beginning of this regular season. Dante, you know the drill. We're going to hand the mic over to you now for some thank you, sponsors, and shout outs.
Absolutely. I know it's been a while since I've been here on the podium. So I would like to thank all of our RTG staff, owners, admins, directors, David Cannon, Sean Prime, for putting on an amazing place for all of us to race and really have fun. Big thank you to Mitch and Terry Bombard, who I've worked with for the past 3 years now on the Tuesday night series, the Winston Cup and the RTG Cup series. They are amazing, and everything they do is just, it really helps us keep things going. And without them, I don't know if I could do it. So big thanks to both of them and all of our drivers on Wednesday. We had a really good race last night, 27 cars at Daytona for our season opener. It was really, really fun and competitive. And all of our drivers who compete each and every night and keep coming back, you guys are the best. So big thanks to everyone who's watching and keep cheering us on this season. I'm hopeful good things will happen here for this number 84 team.
Well, Dante Ricky kicks off season 54 with a runner-up finish here tonight at Talladega. Once again, congratulations on the good performance. Maybe next week we'll be talking to you one position better in victory lane.
Thanks, Seth and Mike. Thank you, guys. Outstanding broadcast tonight, and we'll see you soon.
Let's see if we can now go down to victory lane. Should be quite the interview here as we're going to talk with first-time winner in the Tally Challenge Series, Nate Balser. Hey, Nate, it's Michael and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
I got a copy.
My goodness, man. I'll tell you what, we were talking just moments ago with Dante. Ricky says he's been racing you for years, knows how good you are. You put it on display here this evening. First career victory, looks like first career playoff berth as well, all in one lovely package. But I got to ask, as a driver, describe what was going through your mind mentally, physically, emotionally in those final 5-6 laps there just before that caution came out.
Well, I knew I was racing against the best of the best in there, and it's really hard to stay on top of it. You got to stay on your game. And I knew if it was stuck up behind the two cars that were in front of me, I was using them as kind of a partnership, keeping them on the lead lap and hanging into a good draft there. And I figured that was my best option through the whole thing, just getting the pits right and staying out of trouble. And it was really concentration this time. And these guys are the best of the best, and I'm just really happy to be here. In a win like this, it's outstanding. I'm just thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very fun to watch everything out there. After those final green flag pit stops, and then everyone just kind of finally bunching back up together. The last couple laps before the caution came out, we were talking about it. What was going through your mind when almost everybody switched down to the inside lane trying to get around you like that, just with those final couple laps left?
Yeah, I thought, it easy come, easy go. I was set in victory mode, but you can lose that in a second. And when it actually changed, I said, hey, don't say, never say never. And I think that's the most theme out of the whole thing that I could say. And that was an incredible moment when I saw that changing back, and I said, boy, we might just win this thing.
So, Nate, obviously, with the victory here tonight, you've still got the goal of keeping yourself inside the top 20 in the point standings to solidify that position in the upcoming playoffs. But, I mean, how much of a load is it off your mind? How does it change your racing style here for the final 9 regular season races?
Just to keep getting, staying on my game on the pitting, and always finding a good line to draft in, and making sure you don't pop up out of those corners. It gets a little tricky sometimes when they go 3 and 4 wide, and just always concentrate on that, and think of the end game, and just work hard every step of the way. And you've got friends, and they're always there for you, and just concentrate and look at the end game step by step.
Well, Nate, congratulations on a job well done here tonight. Certainly a Cinderella story to open up the season here for the Tally Challenge. Obviously, I bet there's going to be a lot of celebrating that you're going to be doing here. We already saw some of it. As soon as you cross start finish line, start doing those burnouts. So well done. We got one more task for you, though. We're going to hand the microphone over and let you do some victory lane. Thank you, sponsors, and shout outs.
I'd like to thank everybody at RTG, the staff. You guys are fantastic broadcasters. And all the guys that got me into this, that they pulled some strings and spoke up for me. And I just really want to thank being part of RTG, and it's a wonderful place to be. I'm happy to be here, and I've got a good kickstart for seeing this thing through, and our momentum's up good, and we're going to work hard at it. And I thank you guys personally. You do a great job.
Nate Balser, he is the winner of the season opener here for season 57 of the RTG Talladega Challenge. He'll look to keep this momentum going for the remainder of the regular season. But for now, Nate, congratulations. Go and enjoy that victory.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Hats off.
So as Balser continues to celebrate here tonight, I mean, I don't know what it is, Michael, but the season opener always seems to have a flair for the dramatic, and it just sets a beautiful stage for the rest of the regular season. Last year, it was Chuck McClure on fumes able to get to the checkered flag. Here tonight, it's Nathan Balser getting career win number 1 to kick off the season. I'll tell you what, I think I've said this in the last couple of season openers, but I mean it every single time. It's got me pumped for the rest of this season.
Yeah, it really is. And I love, just the series in general. It gets me really, really pumped up. And I love watching the unexpected and excitement that comes out of these racetracks, because you never know what you're going to get. There's never 2 races that are the same in this series.
Absolutely. Well, we hope that you guys enjoyed our coverage here tonight. Once again, congratulations to Nathan Balser, the winner of race 1 here in the 57th season of the RTG Talladega Challenge. Hope that you guys will tune in next week to see what happens next when these drivers take back to Talladega Superspeedway for another 66-lap event. But Michael, it's been a good one here tonight. Appreciate you joining the booth.
No problem. I can't wait. I'll be here next week.
Absolutely. And we hope you will be here next week too, folks. We appreciate you tuning in tonight. Next week, race 2 here from Talladega. Green flag scheduled to fly next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But for Michael Norman, I'm Seth Cole. Enjoy the rest of your evening, folks. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support